Hey, Debbie, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. And yes, I'm all about teaching people how to create the life that they love, even in the midst of fear, uncertainty, and chaos that you mentioned earlier.
Yes. Well, tell me, what got you interested in wanting to help people live their powerful lives?
Well, I've been on that quest for truth all of my life, and I believe I've discovered how to manifest the reality that I love and desire. And so I'm all about sharing it with as many people as I can. My goal is to, affect 10 million people's lives potentially to change their life destiny by inspiring them to take action, to do some simple, practical things that will literally leverage the quantum physical reality that we live in. And so that you can actually attract a different result into your, I think you call it your daytime life.
Yes, I tell you, that's wonderful. I mean, the whole idea of you inspiring, 10 million people, and then they go out and inspire 100 million people. I mean, whatever the exponential factor of that is.
Right.
And we have a different, hopefully better world that we live in. But tell me, what do you feel is the biggest impediment that keeps people stuck where they are?
The biggest impediment for sure is our own personal identity that we have crafted over our lifetime. I like to call it our life stream. From the time we came into the world, we got popped out of the womb, which kind of was like a Ritz-Carlton five-star experience, right? We get popped out of the womb, and then we have to figure out what it's like here. We have to figure out what we need to do to get love, what we need to do to get food and shelter and acceptance and protection. And ever since that moment, that's what we've been doing. And we've been making decisions about how life is here. And some have gone through massive traumas, abuses, bad situations in life. Of course, there's been good things that have happened as well. But throughout that life stream, we have crafted an identity that has some self-sabotaging aspects to it. So this is sitting in the subconscious program. It runs completely unconsciously, kind of like Windows 10 runs your computer. You don't know how Windows 10 runs your computer, you just know that it does, and you use it for some productive purposes, but there's a code. And every once in a while, there's an update that gets loaded down to that code. You restart your machine, and hopefully the machine runs a little bit smoother and a little bit better. That's exactly what we need to do in our subconscious to get a different result in our daytime reality.
I think you said that so well. And the truth is that so many people just go through their lives not even realizing any of this because it is in our subconscious and we're just not aware of it. So tell me, you are a proponent of something called the magnetic mind method. I talked about it in the intro. So tell me, what is that?
So the magnetic mind method is a 5-step method that is very practical. And if we do it in repetition, you'll see that the results in your life change. And mainly what it's about stepping out of the problem-solving reality and taking what I'm going to call the creator stance, to remember your creative power. And your creative power starts with your ability to choose. If you think about your life, the only power that we really have in life is the power to choose. From the moment you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed at night, you're choosing what time you wake up, what clothes you're going to wear, how you're going to get to work, what you're going to eat, all the different decisions that you make. And if you look back at your lifetime, you'll see that it's a perpetual progression of decisions that have gotten you into the present moment experience that you're in right now. So in effect, I can confidently say that you have created your current reality, this daytime dream reality that we're in. Maybe call it a holographic movie that you're experiencing. You're the producer, you're the director, you wrote the script, you handed everybody their parts, and the world is not happening to you. It's actually happening for you to reflect the identity that you have created throughout your life to this point. So the first step again is getting that real true choice, right? And you're in a true choice when you can say, I want it just because I want it. I want it because I just love to experience it. The second step is to create a structural tension in the mind. The mind needs to resolve tension. So we're going to create a tension, which is just saying, what's it like now? We have this true choice, we have the desire, and we can see what that is or imagine what that is. And then we can look at the way it is now. So we create a contrast, not in a negative way, not in a judgmental way. You can still be content with the current reality. You can still be okay with the current reality, just looking at it and saying, look, what is just what is. It doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be terrible. But in this present moment, you do have the power to choose something different. And notice I didn't say something better. I said something different, because as soon as we say the future is going to be better than the present, we kind of anchor ourselves in the present. When we look at the future as just being a different experience than the present, we kind of let that energy off the now, off the current reality, and just allow it to be what it is. So the second step is just to notice, this is what I want. This is the way it is now. This is what I'd love to have. This is the way it is now. Then the third step is to really get into the emotion of the end result. We have to feel that true choice. Some people, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, they, want to build their businesses. And I say, why do you want to build the business? Well, because I want this huge house and I want to drive a Ferrari and I want to do this kind of thing. And that's what I'll be doing when I'm successful. And I don't care about driving a Ferrari. I want to know what it feels like to drive a Ferrari. I want to know what it feels like to live in a 20,000 square foot house. I want to know what it feels like when you have freedom, right? Or abundance and things like that. So the third step is really getting into the emotion. And I want you to think about our Olympic athletes. They do more training in their mind because the mind does not know the difference between imagination, or even call it dreaming, right, versus reality. To the mind, dreaming and imagination is the same as reality. It sees it, feels it, experiences it exactly the same way. So Olympic athletes imagine themselves breaking a new world record. They imagine themselves on the gold medal podium receiving that medal, right? And seeing the stand going nuts and the applause and seeing them beat their competitor by 1/100th of a second. This is imagined more than the work that they do, let's say, in the swimming pool or on the track or on the ski slope. They're doing it in their mind more than they do it in the real world. So we can do that as well. We get into the emotion of the end result, which is, what is it going to feel like when I become that future version of myself? When I have that thing that I would just love to experience, what's it really going to feel like? And we get into that feeling. Then the fourth step, what we do in the magnetic mind method, is we do a recode. It takes about 15 minutes. Instead of attacking the subconscious mind from the conscious level, we go to the superconscious level, and this is where we download that update into the subconscious program. It takes about 15 minutes. As a coach, I go and speak with that subconscious version of yourself, and clients just feel like somebody's crawling around in their head a little bit. Maybe they see visions of the past or colors or something. It doesn't matter. You can't screw it up. You can't do it wrong. You don't have to be a spiritual person. You don't have to be an expert meditator or anything like that. You just calm down, notice where you are. I do the work on that part, and I do this recode where you actually feel a shift in that identity. All right. And what we're shifting is really the sabotaging identities that exist in our subconscious program. And those identities sound like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, I'm not perfect, I don't belong, and a myriad of variations around those base thoughts that have come from decisions we've made about life. They no longer serve us where we are today. So when we shift the identity, we create a new possibility to experience something new in the waking world.
So when you say you do this recode, is that like hypnosis or kind of thing?
Nope. Totally conscious. You're not going to sleep. You're just going to hear me talk to your superconscious. And this is where it does help to have a coach in the beginning to do this until you learn to do it yourself. So it's totally possible to learn to do it yourself and learn the 5 steps. So the 4th step is one where you might need a little bit of help in connecting with your superconscious side, asking for this recode into the subconscious program. And then the 5th step is, once we do that, we say, okay, what's the next obvious action that's in alignment with that true choice? Because this is where the law of attraction and the secret and, positive mental attitude and affirmations and things like that kind of drop the ball. We need to be in action. We need to take action towards that true choice. And it doesn't have to be a big action step. It just has to be a step that's in alignment with that true choice. It has to be an obvious movement or action towards that reality. And I'll give you an example, like in health and vitality, people say, I want to experience health and vitality. An obvious action step might be to drink more water, just to hydrate more. It might be to eat less fast food and more natural, organic food. It may be to make a phone call to your doctor because you haven't had a medical appointment in 10 years. Small, obvious actions that move you towards that true end result and committing to take that action step. That's what the fifth step is.
Right. So, and it's important to note that it doesn't have to be some great giant leap. It can be, but I like to call baby steps.
Yes.
Like because one little step will lead to the next little step and the next little step. Basically what you're saying.
Yeah. And that's how to answer your earlier question, this is how you build up, let's say, the perseverance or the persistence or the patience. You become okay with taking small steps to your true choice, to your true end result, and experience the journey. Be okay with the progression of your life. A lot of us, we're so microwave in our thinking that, we want it all now. And the truth is, it doesn't work that way. You need to have a contentment and basically a love for the journey, the experience of getting there. What human people really, really enjoy is actually the experience of progress. How many times have you chosen something or achieved success or achieved something and you get there and you're like, is this all there is? I got this thing, right? You buy a new car, maybe you're excited for 2-3 days or something like that. And you're like,
doesn't that also get down to the why you wanted it in the first place?
Yeah. So having some purpose and having a why. And again, the why can be, I want it just because I want it. I want it because I would just love to experience. The purpose comes through in more of an orientational true choice, which is like, I choose to live my nature and purpose, my true nature and purpose. I just choose to live my life that way. And I choose to live the life that I love. I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life. I choose to be healthy and vital versus coming from a problem-solving reality, let's say in the health space again, where you say, I got to beat cancer, or I have to beat Alzheimer's and dementia, or I have to beat cardiovascular disease, or I have to solve this problem. It's very different to back out of that and just say, look, I choose infinite optimal health. I choose to experience vitality and feeling amazing in my body. And then letting the universe, letting that quantum physical field bring the solution, bring the opportunity. You don't have to figure it out in every step. Things will show up for you. And this is what I mean by creating the life you love. It's all comprehensive. When you learn to do these 5 steps and you do them regularly, maybe once a day, twice a day, you're getting into that true choice. You're seeing what it feels like to be there. You're creating that structural tension between what I'd love to have and the way it is now. You engage in a couple recode sessions, and then you take the obvious action. And if you do that on a regular basis, you will see that your life will transform.
How can people find out more about you and the magnetic mind method?
Yeah, I love it. So the best place to go is dreamlifemasters.com with an S. Dreamlifemasters.com. I have some complimentary materials on there. Download a morning ritual to kind of get you started in this direction, things to think about, how to make these true choices and decide on some action steps that lead you in the right direction. There's also a place where you can join one of my webinars where I go more into the science and I go into deeper detail around how this all works.
We've been speaking to optimal health strategist Gunther Mueller.